King Charles said no. Prince William said no. Two of the most powerful men in the British monarchy, a king and a future king, looked Prince Harry directly in the eye, heard his plea, and they closed the door. So the question burning through every royal court, every palace corridor, and every royal watcher's mind on this 27th of June, 2026 is this: will Catherine say no to? Welcome to Royal Daily Report. I'm your host, James. And if you have never watched this channel before, today is the day to start, because what is unfolding inside the British royal family right now, in real time, this week, is the most dramatic chapter this institution has seen in a generation. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will understand something about Catherine, Princess of Wales, that the mainstream media is completely missing. Let us build this story from the ground up. Because to understand where we are today, you need to understand the full weight of everything that brought us here. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle left royal life in January 2020. At the time, the palace called it a shock. The public called it a crisis. Harry and Meghan called it survival. Whatever you believe about the reasons, and reasonable people disagree, the consequences were felt immediately, and they have never stopped reverberating. The Oprah interview in March 2021 sent shockwaves around the world. Allegations of racism, claims of institutional coldness, a family exposed on global television in ways that made even the most loyal royal watchers deeply uncomfortable. And then came the Netflix documentary. And then came Spare, the memoir published in January 2023 that many inside Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace have described privately as the most damaging single act of Harry's post-royal life. Not because of what it said about Charles, not even primarily because of what it said about William, but because of what it said and what it revealed about Catherine. The Princess of Wales had done nothing to deserve being placed at the center of a public dispute she never asked to be part of. She had not given interviews. She had not spoken to biographers. She had maintained what the royal family values above almost everything else: silence and dignity. And yet there she was, in the pages of Spare, her private moments, her private words, her private tears, laid out for the entire world to read and judge and argue over. William was furious. But Catherine was something else entirely. Now, fast forward to this week, June 2026, and the news that has sent the royal world into a frenzy. Prince Harry is coming back to the United Kingdom. And he is not coming alone. For the first time in 4 years, Harry is preparing to travel to Britain with Meghan Markle, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet, connected to events surrounding the Invictus Games Birmingham 2027 countdown. For years, the last time this entire Sussex family was on British soil together, Queen Elizabeth II was still alive. The monarchy felt different. The wounds felt newer. And the possibility of repair, however distant, still felt theoretically possible. Now Harry is coming back. And the question is, who will receive him? Here is the situation as it stands today, and I want to be precise about this because the picture is genuinely complicated. King Charles is open. Sources this week have confirmed that Charles, thinking like a father and a grandfather more than like a king, remains willing to see Harry. He wants to spend time with Archie and Lilibet, his grandchildren, whom he has barely seen. There are even reports that Charles may be willing to assist with the family's security arrangements during their stay in Britain. This is significant. This is Charles extending an olive branch in the most practical and personal way he can. But William is a completely different story. Royal experts speaking on record this week have used a very specific phrase to describe William's position. They have called his door bolted shut. Not closed, not locked, bolted. That is a deliberate, considered word choice. It speaks to permanence, to determination, to a man who has made a decision and has no intention of revisiting it. Sources indicate that William remains particularly and deeply hurt, not primarily by what Harry said about him, but by what Harry's public statements did to Catherine. William has reportedly told people close to him that he could absorb criticism about himself. He is thick-skinned enough for that. He is going to be king. You develop armor. But watching his wife, a woman who has never sought controversy, who has never retaliated, who is fighting cancer and choosing to protect her children's privacy above everything, watching her become collateral damage in Harry's very public war with the institution, that William cannot forgive. That William will not forgive. And Harry knows this, which is why the plea. And there have been multiple attempts, through back channels, through intermediaries, through carefully worded public statements, has been directed not just at Charles, but at William too. Harry has been trying, according to sources, to signal privately that he regrets things. that there will be no more Netflix projects about the family, no more memoirs, no more explosive interviews that drag private conversations into public stadiums. But here's what royal experts are saying clearly this week. Private regret is not the same as a public apology. Regretting something quietly in Montecito is not the same as saying sorry to your brother's face. And William, methodical, proud, protective William, is not going to respond to hints. He has made clear, reportedly, that any future reconciliation would require structure, a proper conversation, handled with complete discretion. No leaks, no spin, no footage, and that has not happened. Which brings us, finally, to Catherine. Because here is the part of this story that almost nobody is talking about properly, and I think it is the most important part. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is not a passive figure in this drama. She is not simply William's wife, standing quietly in the background while the men sort things out. She is, by almost every account from people who know this family, the single most emotionally intelligent person at the center of this entire situation. And she has a position that is unlike anyone else's. She is the person Harry hurt most directly through his public disclosures. She is also the person who has reportedly been pushing hardest, behind the scenes, for this family to find a way back to each other. Think about that paradox for a moment. The victim, actively lobbying for the reconciliation of her attacker with the people she loves most. Sources have confirmed that Catherine has tried everything to get William to soften his position toward Harry. She has argued. She has reasoned. She has appealed to his sense of family, to what Diana would have wanted, to what their children deserve to see modeled for them. A family that finds a way through difficulty rather than entrenching in permanent silence. And William's response? He has not moved. Not 1 inch. One source described the situation plainly. Her hands are tied. But here is what I want you to sit with. Because this is where the story gets truly extraordinary. Catherine was diagnosed with cancer in 2024. She went through treatment. She came through the other side. And people who know her say that experience changed her, not in a way that made her bitter or frightened or withdrawn, but in a way that made her intensely, almost fiercely, clear about what matters and what does not, what is worth carrying and what must be put down. And one of the things she has reportedly decided is not worth carrying is this feud, this Cold War, this permanent state of estrangement that costs everyone inside it, every single day. She does not want to drag this into the future. Those are not my words. That is what people close to her have said directly. She does not want to be part of a family that is defined by what it cannot forgive. And here is the detail that I find most remarkable of all. Catherine has reportedly considered reaching out to Meghan Markle directly, not through a middleman, not through a carefully worded palace statement, a direct, personal outreach. Because sources say Catherine believes that if she and Meghan could find some common ground, could find even the beginning of a genuine understanding between them, the path for William and Harry to reconcile becomes dramatically clearer. As one insider put it, Kate does not want to drag this Cold War forward, and she knows that sometimes the only way to end a war is to be the one who picks up the phone first, even when you are the one who deserved the apology. Now I want to be honest with you about something. Because royal reporting lives in a space between confirmed fact and informed speculation, and you deserve to know the difference. What is confirmed this week is this. Harry is returning to the UK. Charles has left a door open. William's door is described by experts as bolted shut. Catherine is hurt, but has reportedly been pushing for peace. And there is no confirmed meeting scheduled between Harry and William. None. What is contested is this. Whether Catherine's private feelings about reconciliation translate into any kind of action. Whether Harry's private regret will ever become a public apology. Whether Charles's willingness to see his son will be enough to hold the family together while William maintains his distance. And whether this July visit, described by experts as a test run, becomes the beginning of something new, or simply confirms that the distance is now permanent. But here is what I believe. And I have been watching this family for a long time. Catherine is not done. She has not given up. She has been hurt. Deeply, genuinely hurt. And she has every right to close the door and never open it again. But she has not done that. Because Catherine understands something that William in his protective fury and Harry in his defensive pride seem to have temporarily forgotten. The monarchy does not just need to function. It needs to feel human. It needs to carry within it some capacity for grace. And when history looks back at this period, the estrangement, the memoirs, the interviews, the years of silence, it will ask one question above all others. Who chose grace when grace was the hardest possible choice? And right now, in June 2026, with Harry's plane preparing to cross the Atlantic, with Charles holding a door open and William standing guard in front of his? The answer to that question may rest entirely with one woman. A woman who was never supposed to be at the center of this story. A woman who never asked for any of this. A woman who faced something far more terrifying than a family feud and came through it with her dignity and her compassion completely intact. Will Catherine say no? I do not think she knows yet. And I think that uncertainty, that genuine, human, unresolved uncertainty in the heart of the Princess of Wales, is the most honest and most powerful thing in this entire story. We will be watching. We will bring you every development as it happens. This is Royal Daily Report. I'm James. Share this if it moved you. Subscribe if you want the truth about what is really happening inside the House of Windsor. And we will see you in the next one.